Hello, Akash here with your daily dose of disease, or lack thereof. The movie Signs is mainly focused on the life of disillusioned ex-pastor Graham Hess through the mysterious events concerning an alien invasion. What initially begins with a mysterious crop circle sighting on Hess's farm slowly escalates into a full-blown alien attack.
Where are they?
This is the first scene we see in the movie Signs. The fear is immediately implanted in the characters, and the viewer is held in suspense. It all begins with the scream of a child. We can see here that the fear of the entire movie all starts with one child, very similar to how a type of contagion starts with the patient zero. It is clear that in the movie Signs, the spread, resistance, and recovery from fear is analogous to the human response to infectious disease. Just like disease spreads through a population, within the film we see how fear spreads from human to human. Mass transportation, such as planes, trains, and cars, all play a key role in spreading diseases around the world. Priscilla Wald says, human networks become the conduits of viral destruction. Humans are a huge part of the problem when it comes to the spread of anything. Human contact is something necessary to life, and even though we need it, it can always have a negative impact on us. Within the movie, fear is being transmitted in various ways.
Baby, why don't you just change the channel on the television?
I did.
And?
Same shows on every station.
Every station.
Crop science first emerged in the late 70s with renewed interest in extraterrestrial
This scene
life.
shows how quickly information is able to spread around the world. The same news on every channel shows how panicked people are already about these crop circles. Through the news, more people are able to be informed about the events occurring around the world. This can also be seen in this next clip.
Early this morning, a bird flew into the area where the lights were hovering last night. It stopped dead in the air and fell straight down.
The video of the bird crashing to the ground creates widespread panic as people believe that the aliens are invisible and watching them. On a side note, the relationship between disease and fear is so apparent here. Fear is intangible, which is part of the reason why it can spread so rapidly. Fear is a psychological transmission, and as such can affect a huge group of people very quickly. This camera angle shows how something that started so small and is maybe only affecting one family becomes this huge fear spread throughout many families, which we see when the camera zooms out to a wide aerial view of the crop circles. Here is the first instance of fear quickly being transmitted through the internet. Somehow, Merrill Hess, a farmer in the middle of nowhere, was able to find a clip from a birthday party in a foreign country. Somehow, Merrill was able to access this clip. But because he was able to access this video, as we see in the clip, the fear that the foreign family had about this alien has now passed on to him. Once we as humans realize a disease has come about, we do everything in our power to defeat it. We spend time and money trying to prevent it from affecting any more people. The one way that we defeat disease is to find the weakness, manipulate it, and create things such as vaccines or other drugs. In the movie Signs, we see this very similar behavior used.
What if it's catching a signal from them?
It's not.
Graham denies the existence of a threat and tries to assure the rest of his household that there's nothing to be worried about. In the next stage of their resistance, they board up their house and lock themselves inside to prevent the external threat. Eventually, the aliens infiltrate their defenses, and finally they are forced to fight back because the aliens are starting to impede on their lives. They are now face to face with the aliens, the cause of all of their fear, and they soon realize that the aliens' weakness is water. Realizing this shows that in order to take down this fear, they must take down what is causing the fear: aliens. Finally, as society proves victorious in their battle against microbes, Priscilla Wald notes a consequential shift in religious rituals and social organization, suggesting a strengthening of social bonds, a restructuring of norms, and a philosophical shift in the perspective of the world. For example, as a consequence of outbreaks in the past, societies begin to regulate their municipal sanitary systems and use greater medical understanding to modify their beliefs on human nature. We see that a similar resolution unfolds in the narrative of Signs. Firstly, the fear of alien invasion brings people together as one common human identity posed against an omnipresent threat. Camaraderie, family ties, and empathy for strangers are all intensified under this stressor. As former social boundaries are ousted, the people build a stronger, supportive community, more tightly wound and braced for future hardship. But these shifts in strength and courage impact our characters on the individual level as well, most effectively evidenced by our favorite corn farmer, Graham Hess. Signs makes this most apparent by hinting towards Graham's vulnerability early on in the film, faithless, fear-stricken, and sensitive. The loss of his wife ended his belief in God and left him stranded to face his fears without an external guide.
Don't do this to me again. Not again. I hate you. I hate you.
However, as he surmounts his greatest fear of losing the rest of his family, his spirit and his faith are resurrected, giving him an external compass for guidance and grounding, a stronger, more formidable mind, not to be as easily broken by fear. Each of the three concepts of spread, resistance, and recovery are key to highlighting the connection between fear and disease. Fear travels through society from person to person, just like disease. We need to find the weakness of fear, just like vaccines that attack disease. And eventually, society must find some way to move on from either the fear or disease. That's something which can clearly be seen through the conclusion of the movie. Graham Hess, although once disillusioned due to the death of his wife, has finally recovered from his traumatic experience. The fear spread through the attack by the aliens actually resulted in a kind of awakening for him, as he was finally able to move on from the past and look towards the future. It is unlikely that you can ever forget what has happened, but we must find good in the worst experiences and use that to improve our ways of life. We must overcome the hardships and use the knowledge we've gained from these experiences to better our future.